My beloved child, pause for a moment and turn your heart toward the deepest place within you. For in this very instant, I am drawing you closer to the living flow of my presence, not so that you may merely listen, but so that you may truly be touched. What I am unfolding is not a vague idea, but a clear establishment, a sacred seal that was set long before you became aware of your own journey. The things you once thought had passed, the promises that seemed to fall silent, we have in truth never disappeared. They have remained in my hands, waiting for the appointed moment to be called forth and awakened. As it is written, to everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under heaven, Ecclesiastes 3:1. And now you are stepping into that very time, not by chance, but by my precise and unfailing design. Understand this, you are not standing at a beginning, but at the intersection where promise meets fulfillment. I am not speaking to you with gentle words for you to consider and then forget. I am awakening within you a new awareness, a realization so deep that once you see it, you will not be able to return to your former way of seeing. The things that have been placed within you long ago, your longings, your quiet callings, your desires that never truly faded, all carry my imprint. And that imprint cannot be erased by time or circumstance. As it is written, for the gifts and the calling of God are without repentance, Romans 11:29. And so, what I have placed within you still waits, not for your striving, but for your response. You once believed that you had missed many things, but I tell you this, nothing has ever slipped from my hand. There were seasons I held back, not because I forgot, but because I was preparing you. There were doors that did not open, not because you were unworthy, but because your foundation needed to be made complete. And now, as I begin to move, you will see everything awakening at once, opportunities, connections, pathways appearing not as coincidence, but as a design now activated. As it is written, He has made everything beautiful in its time, Ecclesiastes 3:11. So, what you are witnessing is not surprise, but perfect timing. What I am doing in you is not merely giving you an opportunity, but placing you into a position that has already been prepared beforehand, and that position is not for you to shine in the way the world understands, but for you to become part of something greater, a flow through which life, renewal, and restoration are released. You are not meant to receive for yourself alone. You are called to become a channel. Yet to walk in this, you must recognize that the mark I have placed upon you is not something you can manufacture. It is something entrusted to you. Let your heart grow still for a moment, for within that stillness you will begin to sense movement, not the noise from the outside, but a quiet stirring within, a deep assurance that something is shifting. That is when you will know I am at work. And once you recognize this, you will no longer ask, when will it happen? But instead, how am I to step in this moment? My beloved, I am not drawing you into this to make you afraid, but to awaken you. For when you understand that you are standing within an appointed time, you will no longer live randomly. You will begin to live with awareness, with intention, and in alignment with me. And in that alignment, you will see that what I have promised is no longer distant, but is becoming reality before you. So come closer, not with your feet, but with your heart. Let every doubt fall away. Let every noise settle, and allow my voice to become clearer within you. What I am doing cannot be fully explained by reasoning. It can only be discerned through connection. And when you connect, you will understand this. You are not merely waiting for something to happen. You are already within the very moment where it begins. I am sealing, and when I seal, it is established. I am opening, and when I open, nothing can shut it. And you are no longer standing outside looking in, but are invited to step within. My beloved child, listen to the deep rhythm within your heart, for what is rising in you is not by chance, nor is it a fleeting emotion. The words that once made you tremble, the images imprinted during your moments of prayer, the melodies that suddenly return without reason, all are coming back like sparks reignited by my breath. You do not need to strive to remember. I myself am bringing them back to life. What I have placed within you has never been lost. It has only been held in stillness, waiting for the appointed moment to be awakened. As it is written, fan into flame the gift of God that is within you, 2 Timothy 1:6. And now I am the wind, causing that flame to burn again, not faintly, but brightly and clearly. You may have once thought these were simply beautiful moments that passed, but I tell you, nothing I have ever spoken becomes meaningless. Every scripture that touched you, every image I showed you, every sound you felt, these are seeds I have sown. And a seed, no matter how long it lies beneath the soil, does not die unless I allow it. It is only waiting for its season. And that season, my child, there is no longer far ahead. It is before you now, touching your soul in this very moment. As it is written, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, though it linger. Wait for it. It will surely come. It will not delay. Habakkuk 2:3. So, what you are sensing is not a new beginning, but the continuation of what was ordained long ago. I know there were times you wondered why everything seemed silent, why the promises did not move, why what once burned brightly felt distant. But you did not see what I was doing in those silent places. I did not allow you to wait in vain. I was shaping, refining, and deepening what I had placed within you so that when it rises, it would not be fragile, but would carry the weight of completion. As it is written, my word will not return to me empty, but will accomplish what I desire. Isaiah 55:11. So, what I have spoken over your life cannot be undone. It can only be fulfilled. Remember the account of Elijah on Mount Carmel, when he prayed while the land was still in drought and sent his servant to look toward the sea again and again. 6 times there was nothing, but the 7th time, a cloud as small as a man's hand appeared on the horizon. It was not yet the rain, but it was the sign that the rain had begun. Soon after, the sky grew dark and the rain poured down. Do you see? What I do often begins with small signs that carry the certainty of something great. What you are sensing within those returning memories, those rekindled lights, is your small cloud. It is the sign that the season has shifted, that what was once held back is now being released. Do not search for something entirely new, for I am not beginning again from the start with you. I am awakening what already exists. I am bringing to life what was delayed with a power you have never seen before. Just as the dawn is not a new sun, but the revealing of a light that has always been there, so it is with what is happening within you. The light is not new yet. Now it touches you in a way you can clearly see. And as it is written, the night is far spent. The day is at hand. Romans 13:12. What you are stepping into is no longer the darkness of waiting, but the threshold of revelation. So, my beloved, do not doubt what is rising within your heart. Do not dismiss the reminders you are experiencing, for I am using those very familiar things to confirm that you are not lost. You are moving exactly where I have appointed you. And the word I place upon your soul, the Lord is not slow in keeping his promise, as some understand slowness. 2 Peter 3-9 is not merely to comfort you, but to establish a truth. The time has come. Let your heart open fully. For when I breathe upon old seeds, they do not simply come back to life, they multiply. You will not only remember, you will begin to see. Not only see, you will step in. And when you step, you will realize that you are not starting something new, but continuing a journey that was written long ago, a journey that is now entering a chapter where the light is no longer hidden. I am causing embers to burn again. I am calling life forth from what once seemed dormant. And you are no longer standing outside, observing. You are within the very moment where everything begins to move. My beloved child, when you begin to feel unusual stirrings within your soul, when a word you once read suddenly becomes alive as if just spoken, when a forgotten melody returns with clarity in your mind, or when an old image reappears with such sharpness that it feels newly given, understand that you are not remembering. You are being touched. This is not emotional recall. It is intentional awakening from me. What is rising within you carries the imprint of purpose and direction, not to make you nostalgic, but to make you aware. What I placed in you is being activated again. As it is written, fan into flame the gift of God that is within you. 2 Timothy 1:6. And I am the one doing this. I do not merely remind. I revive. I do not merely suggest. I ignite. Do not call it coincidence, for I do not move randomly. Everything you are experiencing is part of a movement I have already ordained. There are seeds I planted within you long ago, promises, vision, deep impressions that have lain beneath the soil of time. You thought they were silent, but I have been preserving them under my hidden protection. As it is written, those who sow in tears shall reap in joy. Psalm 126:5. So, what was sown in seasons you did not understand is now entering its time of harvest. And when the season arrives, the seed does not need to be forced. It rises naturally, according to the life already placed within it. You once thought you had forgotten many things. But I tell you the truth, you did not forget. I preserved them. I kept them so they would not be distorted by seasons that were not yet ripe. I kept them so they would not be stolen by voices that were not from me. I kept them so that when the appointed time arrived, they would emerge whole and in their fullest strength. And when I place my confirmation upon them, you will see a clear shift. What was slow will become swift. What was blurred will become clear. And what stood still will begin to move with direction. As it is written, the Lord himself goes before you and will be with you. Deuteronomy 31:8. So you do not need to force anything. I have already gone ahead, and I am making the way. My beloved, what is happening is not a demand for you to strive harder, but a release for you to walk lighter. When I begin to move, you will no longer feel the need to strain forward, for I am the one adjusting the flow of time around you. You are no longer chasing time. Time is being realigned to serve the purpose I have spoken over your life. As it is written, he changes times and seasons. Daniel 2:21. So the rhythm you are entering is not the rhythm of the world, but the rhythm of my decree. Imagine a cedar seed lying deep beneath dry ground for many years unseen, unnoticed, seemingly without value. Yet when the rain comes, it rises with a force far beyond expectation, becoming a tree that stands firm in every condition. What I have placed within you carries that same nature. It does not need to prove itself while hidden, but when activated, it reveals the strength that has been formed in silence. Therefore, do not fear what is moving within you. Do not doubt what is being stirred. You are not losing control. You are being brought into alignment. And as you step into a new day, you will realize this. You do not need to strive to open the way, because the way has already been opened. You do not need to push yourself forward, because the momentum is already there. You need only to walk in awareness and agreement. I am awakening. I am establishing. I am moving. And you are no longer standing outside observing. You are at the very center of this movement. where everything I placed within you from the beginning is coming back to life strong, clear, and unstoppable. My beloved child, let your heart become still so you may grasp a deeper principle I am placing within you. There is a difference between what I have spoken and what I bring into motion. A promise does not always step immediately into manifestation. There are things I wrote into your soul long ago. Yet I kept them in a state of waiting, not because I forgot, but because I was preparing you. When you were still weak, the promise served as a light to guide you. When you mature, the promise becomes a weight you are able to carry. As it is written, I fed you with milk, not with solid food, for you were not yet ready for it. 1 Corinthians 3:2. So, I do not entrust greater things to you until you are strong enough to stand under the weight of their fulfillment. But now, you are stepping into a different threshold, a place where what once existed only as something written begins to move into execution. This is not a minor shift. It is a transition of state, like a seed hidden beneath the soil, unseen by anyone. Yet, at the appointed time, it breaks through its shell and rises, no longer concealed. What I spoke to you in years past in quiet moments, in times of prayer, in the instances when you clearly sensed, my presence is no longer at rest. As it is written, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, it will speak and will not lie. Habakkuk 2:3. So, what you are witnessing is not something new, but something that has reached its moment to be revealed. Understand this, I do not work in haste. I wait for the soil to soften, meaning your heart is no longer hardened by fear or wounded by pain. I wait for the roots to deepen, meaning your faith is no longer dependent on circumstances. I wait for the soul to mature, meaning you no longer pursue the promise for personal gain, but for my purpose. And when these three come into alignment, I do not delay. I act. And when I act, everything begins to move together. As it is written, I am watching over my word to perform it. Jeremiah 1:12. So, when the time comes, nothing can hold back what I have ordained. You will begin to recognize unmistakable signs. What I once spoke in secret will now resound with clarity, repeating with a weight you cannot ignore, not to engage your reasoning, but so that your soul will know the moment has arrived. I do not want you to recall with your mind alone. I want you to discern with deep inner conviction. As it is written, my sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. John 10:27. So, what you are hearing is not an echo of the past, but a present call leading you forward. My beloved, what was once delayed is no longer in a state of stillness. There is an acceleration you will begin to feel, not pressure, but a powerful current carrying you forward. What once took years to form may now come to completion in a short span of time, because I am compressing time to align with my purpose. As it is written, in its time I will hasten it. Isaiah 60:22. So do not be surprised when things begin to unfold faster than what you have known. Understand this as well. When I move from inscription to execution, I do not act alone. I mobilize heaven. The messengers I have assigned to your portion begin to operate more visibly, opening paths, arranging, guarding, and connecting, not to replace your steps, but to ensure that when you step, you do not walk in disorder. As it is written, he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. Psalm 91:11. So you are not alone in this season. You are surrounded by an orchestration you may not fully see, but you can certainly discern. Therefore, my beloved, do not return to your old way of living, the way of one who waits in doubt. You are no longer in that season. You are now in the season of execution. What I require of you is not excessive striving, but complete alignment. When you hear, respond. When you see, step forward. When you are prompted, do not delay. For every step you take in obedience will align with the movement I have already begun. I am bringing you from the place where the promise was written into the place where the promise is lived. From the place where you heard what I would do into the place where you see what I am doing. And you are no longer standing outside observing the story. You are becoming part of its fulfillment. In the very moment I appointed for you from the beginning, my beloved child. Discern the movement taking place around you, not with natural sight, but through the deep peace within your soul. There will come a moment when you realize you no longer need to strive to move forward, because my current is carrying you, like a boat once stuck in mud, now lifted by the rising tide. You will find yourself carried into a new rhythm, a rhythm you did not create. This is not ease as the world defines it, it is alignment. The flow that comes when you are positioned exactly where I have called you to be. As it is written, those who wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. Isaiah 40:31. So what you are experiencing is not increased effort, but divine uplift. There will be moments that astonish you, as doors once tightly shut begin to open so effortlessly that you will wonder whether any barrier ever truly existed. This is not because circumstances changed by chance, but because the time has changed. When I open, no force can restrain it. As it is written, see, I have set before you an open door, and no one can shut it. Revelation 3:8. So what you are witnessing is not luck, but a clear sign that you have entered a new phase, a phase where my power is no longer concealed. You will also begin to see that paths once unclear, once causing hesitation, are now illuminated as if by the rising sun, not because you suddenly understand everything, but because my light is revealing the way. When light comes, you do not need to argue with darkness. Darkness simply disappears. As it is written, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Psalm 119-105. So you no longer need to search in anxiety. You only need to walk in what I am revealing. Remember the account when the people of Israel stood before the Jordan River during flood season. The waters were rushing, seemingly impossible to cross. Yet when the priests carrying the Ark of the Covenant stepped into the water, the flow stopped, and a dry path appeared in the midst of the river. It was not that the waters disappeared beforehand, but that obedience activated the miracle. As it is written, as soon as the feet of the priests touched the water's edge, the water was cut off. Joshua 3:15-16. Do you see? The path does not always appear before you step. Often it opens within the very act of stepping. And what I am doing in you is the same. I do not only show you the way, I open the way as you walk in trust. So, my beloved, do not be surprised when you feel yourself being carried into a pace you did not create. This is not pressure, it is the acceleration of grace. You are not being swept away in disorder, you are being guided by a higher order. As it is written, a man's heart plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps. Proverbs 16:9. So your steps are no longer isolated, they are being arranged within a design already set in place. Let this become a confirmation within you when you find yourself moving forward without strain, when barriers dissolve without struggle, when direction becomes clear without force. That is the evidence that you are no longer in a season of waiting. You are standing in the season where the promise is being executed. This is where what was spoken becomes what is happening. This is where faith is no longer only trust in the future, but becomes experience in the present. I declare to you clearly, the seal has been set, and once I have established it, no power can reverse it. No circumstance can delay it. No voice can deny it. As it is written, If God is for us, who can be against us? Romans 8:31. So you no longer need to fear what once held you back. It no longer has authority to define you. Therefore, step forward, not in haste, but in certainty. Move ahead not by your own strength, but in partnership with me. And as you walk in this rhythm, you will understand that what I have ordained is not merely coming, it has already begun. And you are in the very midst of that flow, where everything once delayed is no longer restrained. My beloved child, let your soul settle into the gentle peace you are sensing, for it is within these subtle stirrings that I am touching you. Not all my movements come with loud sounds or visible signs before others. There are works I choose to accomplish in quietness, where only your spirit can perceive. The movements you feel subtle yet clear, deep yet unforced, are signs that the seal I have placed upon your life is expanding, not only in the spiritual realm, but into the smallest details of your daily life. I do not separate you from life in order to act. I enter into your very life, making each moment a place where I reveal myself. There will be very ordinary moments when you are not prepared at all, yet a word suddenly rises within your heart, causing you to pause, not because you are trying to remember, but because I am actively awakening it. As it is written, the Holy Spirit will remind you of everything I have said to you, John 14:26. So, what you are experiencing is not natural memory, but intentional recall from me. When you are moving through daily life, engaged in simple tasks, and suddenly an old image returns with clarity as though it just happened, understand that this is not a drifting memory, but a sign that I am stirring again what I have placed within you. What I have spoken to you never disappears. It only waits for the appointed moment to be brought back to life. Even when you hear a melody that seems random, yet a single note reaches the deepest place within you, causing a stirring you cannot explain. That too is how I touch you. I am not limited by form. I use all things to speak when your heart is open. As it is written, be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. So it is within stillness, in the midst of ordinary moments, that you will recognize me most clearly. I do not need to make everything loud for you to hear. I only need you to become quiet enough to discern. The years you have lived through, the seasons that seem delayed, have left within you a weariness you do not always notice. Yet I do not heal you by adding more pressure. I do not force you to run faster to catch up with what I am doing. Instead, I come like a gentle wind, soft, yet strong enough to restore life. I remind you not to bring regret, but to reveal that nothing in your journey has been wasted. As it is written, He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. Psalm 147:3. So, in these tender moments, I am touching the deepest places within you to restore them. You do not need to strive to hold on to what I am doing. You do not need to strain to remember or analyze every sign. I am the one who awakens, and I am also the one who preserves. When I want you to remember, you will remember. When I want you to recognize, you will recognize. As it is written, for it is God who works in you to will and to act according to His good purpose. Philippians 2:13. So even your awareness comes from me, not from your effort. Therefore, my beloved, cherish these small movements. Do not dismiss them simply because they appear insignificant to others. For it is within these seemingly small things that I am marking again what belongs to me within you. I am confirming, renewing, and reviving. And each time you recognize one of these signs, let your heart respond, not with many words, but with a deep awareness. I am here. I am at work, and you are within my flow. Let this gentleness become your strength. Let this lightness become the foundation of your steps. For I do not draw you by pressure, I lead you by life. And as you walk in that leading, you will see that everything I have placed within you is being awakened not loudly, but surely, not hurriedly, but irresistibly. My beloved child, I have seen the moments when you sit quietly before your screen, the blue light reflecting in your eyes while your heart feels as unclear as the morning mist. I know the times you have wondered whether you are moving closer or drifting further away, when every direction seems to dissolve into an unnamed emptiness. Yet you do not realize that it is precisely in those quiet spaces that I begin my deepest work. When you think nothing is happening, that is when my seal is moving, silently flowing through your thoughts, your feelings, even your breath. As it is written, the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Psalm 34:18. So you are never alone, even in the moments that feel most empty. There are evenings when the soft glow of a lamp rests upon a still wall, and you sit there with questions that seem to have no answers, thinking that I am silent. Yet you do not know that I am speaking not through loud sounds, but through gentle signals that reach the deepest part of you. A melody suddenly returns. A promise you thought had faded rises again with clarity. An idea flashes like a spark through the mist. None of these are random. This is how I enter the most ordinary spaces of your life to awaken what is most extraordinary within you. As it is written, you will hear a voice behind you, saying, "This is the way, walk in it." Isaiah 30:21. So, even when you do not see the path clearly, I am still guiding you step by step. You once believed that I revealed myself only in great moments, times of strong emotion, moments of undeniable clarity. But I tell you this, I am not limited to those moments. I am present in the smallest details you often overlook. When you wash the dishes, when you walk along a familiar road, when you pause for a brief second because of a passing thought, I am there. As it is written, in him we live and move and have our being. Acts 17:28. So there is no moment of your life that exists outside of my presence. Remember Jacob when he lay down in the wilderness, resting his head upon a stone. Nothing about that moment seemed extraordinary. Yet in that very place, he saw a ladder reaching from earth to heaven. And when he awoke, he said, "Surely the Lord is in this place." And I did not know it. Genesis 28:16. Do you see? My presence does not always come with extraordinary circumstances. Often it is revealed in what you consider ordinary. And you are experiencing this now, not because I have just arrived, but because you are beginning to recognize me. The ideas that flash within you are not products of impulse. The promises that return are not mere nostalgia. They are signs that what I have placed within you is being awakened. And I do not do this by forcing you to understand everything at once. I do it by planting light within you little by little, so that your soul gradually recognizes that you are being led. As it is written, the path of the righteous is like the morning sun, shining ever brighter till the full light of day. Proverbs 4:18. So you do not need to see the entire road right now. You only need to walk in the light that is being given. My beloved, the confusion you feel is not a sign that you are going the wrong way. Often it is a sign that you are stepping out of old understanding and into a deeper dimension. When you no longer rely on your own certainty, you begin to learn how to rely on me. And it is within that transition that I begin to reveal more clearly, not by explaining everything, but by guiding you through small yet steady steps. So do not fear the empty spaces. Do not rush to fill them with anxiety, for it is within those very spaces that I am continuing to write your story. When you feel that you do not know where to go, remember that I do. When you feel that you cannot hear anything, Trust that I am still speaking only in a way you are learning to recognize. And when a thought flashes, a song rise, a promise stirs, pause for a moment and discern, it is me. I do not leave you in the smallest details. I am there, in every ordinary moment, reminding you that you belong to me, that your journey is being guided, and that what I have placed within you is being awakened quietly, yet surely, unhurried, yet unstoppable. My beloved child, there are deep places within your heart that you have closed off like a hidden drawer, where unfinished desires and once burning prayers now lie in silence. You have not dared to open them, not because they have lost meaning, but because you fear facing the feeling that you hoped for much and received little. But listen to me. In this season, I am the one opening that drawer with you, not to reopen wounds, but to show you that nothing there has been forgotten. Every line you wrote in tears, every whisper you spoke in nights when no one heard, I have kept them all. As it is written, you number my wanderings, put my tears into your bottle, Psalm 56:8. So, not a single tear of yours has fallen without being held by me. When I open those pages again, I do not see you as someone who was mistaken for hoping. I see you as one who remained faithful in days without visible results. And that faithfulness, not outward success, not visible outcomes, is what I have established as the foundation for the seal upon you today. You thought you had experienced failure, but I saw the moments you stood firm. You thought you had suffered loss, but I saw that you chose not to trade away your values. As it is written, whoever is faithful in very little is also faithful in much. Luke 16:10. So, what you have held onto in silence is the evidence that you can carry greater things without being shaken. You do not realize how much you have changed, because growth is not always loud. It unfolds in the mornings when you rise, even though your heart feels uncertain. In the days when you choose to keep believing, despite seeing no signs. In the moments when you release fear in order to hold on to what you know is right. These things are not visible to others, but I see every detail. I see each time you remain silent instead of reacting. Each time you choose hope over bitterness. Each time you refuse to give up, even when nothing outwardly changes. As it is written, the Lord does not see as man sees, for man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. 1 Samuel 16:7. So what I measure is not what is displayed, but what is being formed within you. Remember the account of Hannah, the woman who came to the temple year after year, offering prayers through tears without immediate answers. She endured misunderstanding, silence, and even the feeling of being forgotten. Yet within that perseverance, I was preparing her to receive what she could not have carried if she had not been made deep enough. When the time came, she did not merely receive a child, she received Samuel, one set apart for me before he was even born. As it is written, the Lord remembered her, 1 Samuel 1:19. And in a single moment, the years of waiting were no longer meaningless, but became the foundation of a great fulfillment. Do you see? I do not forget. I wait in order to complete. My beloved, what you have gone through has not only built endurance, it has established a foundation. Every time you chose to believe instead of giving up, every time you kept your heart soft instead of closing it, every time you continued walking without clarity, you were building something strong enough to carry what I have ordained. As it is written, for no one can lay any foundation other than the one already laid, which is Jesus Christ, 1 Corinthians 3:11. So what you stand upon today is not by chance. It is the result of what has been built over time. Therefore, when I open that journal with you, I do not do it to lead you into regret. I do it so you may see that no page was overlooked, No prayer was forgotten. No hope was discarded. Everything has been preserved, protected, and prepared for the right time. And because you remained faithful when you could not yet see, you are now able to receive when I open it without breaking under its weight. I know every morning you chose to rise and believe for one more day. I know every time you refused to live beneath what I placed within you. I know each moment you released fear to hold on to truth. And these are not merely memories, they are evidence that you are ready. So do not be afraid when I open again what you once put away. This time, you will not see it through the lens of the past, but through the understanding of the present. You will see that everything I preserved was not to wound you again, but to reveal that I was there throughout the entire journey. And now, with the seal set, you will not only remember, you will begin to step into the fulfillment of what you once believed through tears. My beloved child, there were seasons when you felt set aside, as though your life had been paused, like something no longer in use. But I tell you clearly, you were never set aside. What you called being put down was the very place where I was doing my deepest work in you, not to diminish your value, but to refine your nature. You are like a finely crafted instrument that cannot be brought into a great symphony while its strings are still out of tune, while its wood has not yet settled. I placed you in stillness not because you were unnecessary, but because you were too important to be used before you were ready. You thought you were standing still, but I was adjusting every detail within your soul, things unseen by you, yet determining the sound you would one day release. I softened what was rigid, strengthened what was weak, and deepened what was shallow. As it is written, He will sit as a refiner and purifier of silver, Malachi 3:2-3. So this process was not meaningless delay, but purposeful refinement. I do not only desire that you produce sound, I desire that you produce the right sound. There were times you thought you were falling behind others, but you did not see that I do not measure your journey by speed, but by precision. One step taken rightly at the right time carries more value than years spent moving in the wrong direction. I am calibrating you, not allowing you to crack under responsibility, not allowing you to falter when you step into position. As it is written, every branch that bears fruit he prunes, that it may bear more fruit, John 15:2. So my pruning is not loss, it is preparation for greater increase. My beloved, one who carries a promise cannot merely receive it, they must be able to sustain it. And that capacity is not formed through emotion, but through refinement. I do not entrust you with what is great while you are still fragile within. I do not place you in elevated positions while your foundation remains unstable. I love you too much to push you into what you are not yet ready to carry. As it is written, after you have suffered a little while, He will restore you and make you strong, firm, and steadfast. 1 Peter 5:10. So what you have gone through was not delay, it was the process of making you able to stand. And when I touch you again, when I place you into the symphony I have prepared, you will understand that every adjustment had purpose. The sound you release will no longer be thin or distorted, but will carry depth, clarity, and weight, not because you tried harder, but because you were formed rightly. As it is written, the mouth of the righteous is a fountain of life, Proverbs 10:11. So, what flows from you will not merely be sound, it will carry life. Therefore, do not look back on those seasons when you were set aside with regret. See them instead as seasons of calibration, for without those days, you would not have the sound you carry now. Without that stillness, you would not have this clarity. And without that refinement, you would not be able to carry what I am about to entrust to you. I never waste you. I only prepare you. And now, as you understand this, you will no longer fear seasons of silence, because you know that even in stillness, I am working, refining, and shaping you for something greater. You have not been set aside. You are being prepared so that when the moment comes, you will not merely appear, you will resound with clarity, strength, and a presence that cannot be replaced. My beloved child, there are moments when you find yourself in the noise of life voices, movement, endless streams of information, yet within you there is a strange stillness, as if the volume of the world has been lowered so you can hear the faintest rhythm within your own soul. Do not dismiss this feeling, for it is not accidental or fleeting. It is me drawing you into a deeper dimension, where your spirit begins to discern what it could not before. I am leading you into a phase where even the smallest detail can become a sign. As it is written, "Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for Him," Psalm 37:7. And it is within this stillness, in the midst of noise, that you are learning to recognize me more clearly than ever. There will be things that seem insignificant, yet carry a weight you cannot explain. A simple message arrives at the exact moment you need it, and your heart knows it is more than human words. A brief conversation opens a direction you had never considered. An ordinary moment like waiting at a red light suddenly becomes filled with my presence, leaving you silent under the awareness of my love. These are not coincidences. They are the ways I mark your soul, showing you that I am present, that I am working, and that I am opening the way. As it is written, your ears will hear a voice behind you, saying, "This is the way, walk in it." Isaiah 30:21. So, even in the smallest things, I am guiding you. You are entering a measure where you no longer need grand signs in order to believe. You are beginning to recognize that I do not speak only through great events, but through the smallest details of everyday life. This does not diminish my power, it reveals my nearness. For if I can speak through the great, I can also touch you through the small. As it is written, whoever is faithful in very little is also faithful in much. Luke 16:10. So as you learn to recognize me in the small, you are being prepared to recognize me in the greater. Remember Naaman, the great commander who sought healing through a dramatic miracle. Yet I instructed him simply to wash in the Jordan 7 times. What he expected was greatness, but what I required was simplicity. And within that simplicity, the miracle took place. As it is written, his flesh was restored and became clean like that of a young boy. 2 Kings 5:14. Do you see? I am not limited by the scale of action. I choose the way that allows you to recognize me. And often, it is within the smallest things that I reveal the greatest power. My beloved, when you begin to notice that the smallest details carry within them a profound sense of my presence, this is a clear sign that you are in a unique season, a season in which I no longer stand at a distance for you to seek, but remain very near for you to recognize. I do not need to perform great and overwhelming acts to prove that I am here. A gentle touch is enough. And you already know, as it is written, the Lord is not far from each one of us. Acts 17:27. So the distance between us is not something you must overcome. It has already been removed. I am here. I am working. I am opening. And you are learning to perceive this not with your eyes, but with your spirit. My beloved child, let your heart soften as you hear this. You have lived through enough slow days to understand what waiting feels like. And I was there. In every moment you wondered why everything seemed still. But now, I am bringing you into a different experience, a rhythm of movement you have not been accustomed to, where things no longer stretch out as they once did. I do not accelerate to confuse you. I accelerate to show you that the previous season no longer holds authority over you. As it is written, see, I am doing a new thing, now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? Isaiah 43:19. So what you are entering is not a continuation of delay, but the end of it. There will be doors you once knocked on in silence, doors you had accepted would never open, yet they will now open so gently that you will not even have time to prepare for fear. There will be opportunities you once thought required long pursuit, yet now they will come to you as though they had already been sent ahead, and you will wonder why everything is changing so quickly. But I tell you, it is not the result of new effort, but the result of the seal that has been set. As it is written, "In its time I will hasten it," Isaiah 60:22. So the acceleration you are witnessing is not unusual. It is the sign of a new season that has begun. Remember Peter, who had fished all night and caught nothing. Every bit of his experience told him it was time to stop. Yet when I told him to cast the net once more, he obeyed without understanding. And in a single moment, the net was filled to the point of breaking. As it is written, they caught such a large number of fish that their nets began to break. Luke 5:6. Do you see? There are moments when increase does not come from prolonged effort, but from a rightly timed movement. What I am doing in you is the same, not extending what you have been doing, but positioning you at the right moment for results to appear. My beloved, I am also doing something deeper. I am transforming how you see yourself. Before, you looked back and saw yourself as one who was always waiting, standing outside, watching doors open for others. But I do not see you that way. I see one who has been prepared through every stage, every trial, every silent season. You were not left behind. You were held back for the right time. As it is written, God works all things together for the good of those who love him. Romans 8:28. So even what you thought was delay has been serving what I am now bringing to pass. You once believed that you lacked opportunity, lacked clarity, lacked what was necessary to step into something greater. But I tell you, you do not lack. You have already been given the foundation needed to carry what I am about to entrust to you. Had I given it earlier, you would not have been able to sustain it. But now, you are different. You are deeper, stronger, clearer. As it is written, after you have suffered a little while, he will restore you and make you strong, firm, and steadfast. 1 Peter 5:10. So what you carry today is not merely hope, it is readiness. Therefore, do not return to the old mindset that you are one who stands on the sidelines. You are no longer in that place. You are one who has been marked, called, and placed into the flow of fulfillment. When I set my seal, you no longer need to search for your path. You are positioned in it. When I confirm, you no longer need to prove. You simply step. As it is written, the steps of a righteous person are ordered by the Lord. Psalm 37:23. So, your journey is no longer one of uncertainty. It is one of guidance. Let your heart receive this acceleration without fear. When things begin to move faster, do not think you will fall behind. You do not need to keep up. You are being carried. When doors open, do not hesitate because of old habits of waiting. When opportunities come, do not doubt because of memories of rejection. What is happening now does not come from your past. It comes from the seal I have placed upon you today. I am redefining you not through abstract words, but through the reality you are about to experience. You are not one who is always waiting. You are one who has been prepared. You are not one who arrives late. You are one who steps at the appointed time. You are not one who lacks. You are one who has been equipped. And now, as you step into what has been ordained, you will see everything that once caused you to doubt yourself will lose its voice. For I have spoken, and when I speak, it is established. You are not on the sidelines. You are at the very center of what I am doing. My beloved child, listen with your whole soul, for I am no longer speaking to you only about a personal journey. I am opening a greater dimension of calling, a mission that extends beyond you, what you have gone through in silence, the days of healing, the nights of awakening, the seasons of shaping unseen by others, were not only to make you whole for yourself. I have prepared you like one trained before entering a battle, not to prove strength, but to carry light for many others. As it is written, "Arise, shine, for your light has come," Isaiah 60:1. So your rising is no longer just a personal response. It is a signal for those who will come after you. You once lived as one who carried a small flame within, quietly protecting it through many seasons of opposing winds. You became accustomed to solitude, to being misunderstood, to having only me and you in those deep, hidden conversations. Yet you did not realize that it was precisely that solitude I used to shape you into one who can stand without being shaken. I did not allow you to be isolated without purpose. I was preparing you to become a point of beginning. Just as John the Baptist stood in the wilderness, alone, yet his voice became the call that stirred an entire people. Prepare the way of the Lord, Matthew 3:3. Do you see? Those who open the way often begin in silence, but they end in movement that gathers many. Picture this, my beloved, a vast space where many are waiting for a signal, for light, for confirmation that they may dare to step forward. And I place in your hand a flame, not a fragile one, but one that has been sealed by me. When you lift it, its light will not only illuminate your path, but will extend outward, reaching those around you. They do not need to hear many words, they only need to see you stand. For your steadiness becomes an invitation. As it is written, "You are the light of the world. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a basket." Matthew 5:14-15. So, what I have placed within you cannot remain hidden. It was created to shine. This is no longer the journey of an individual searching for meaning. This is a point of convergence. I am drawing near those who carry the same rhythm, the same current, the same nature. You will recognize them not by appearance, but by resonance within. Encounters will no longer be random, they will carry confirmation. Connections will no longer be vague, they will carry purpose. As it is written, "Can two walk together unless they are agreed?" Amos 3:3. So when I connect, it is because I am building a company, not merely forming a single individual. And now, you stand within that same principle. What I am doing in you does not end with you. Every step you take, every decision you make, every time you stand firm, these are writing a beginning that others will enter. You are not only living your life, you are opening a path. Those who do not yet know how to stand will learn by watching you stand. Those who are still afraid will draw courage from your steadiness. As it is written, "Be strong and courageous, for the Lord your God will be with you." Joshua 1:9. So your courage is not yours alone, it extends outward. My beloved, this is the moment you understand that your calling is no longer confined to the personal. This is a trumpet sound, one that does not awaken you alone, but awakens others as well. This is a battlefield not for you to fight in isolation, but for you to stand in the position appointed, where your very presence becomes part of the victory. For victory is no longer something you hope for, it is something already determined as you step into your place. Therefore, do not withdraw as before. Do not think of yourself as a small, insignificant part. When I set my seal, I do not do so for a small purpose. I do it to open a flow. I do it to initiate. I do it to establish. You are not only one who receives, you are one who opens. Not only one who holds, you are one who transmits. Not only one who is led, you are one who will lead. And when you rise into that position, you will see that you are no longer alone. A company will be drawn. A current will be opened. And what I have begun in you will continue to spread through people you have not yet met, through years you have not yet seen. I have set the seal, and that seal does not rest on you alone. It is opening a generation. My beloved child, lift the vision of your soul beyond familiar limits. For what I am doing does not end where you stand today. If you look only through the lens of the present, you will underestimate yourself. But if you look through the perspective I place within you, you will begin to understand that your life has been sown as a seed, not merely to exist, but to create a small seed. When it enters its rightful season, does not only grow, it becomes something vast enough to sustain life around it. As it is written, the righteous will flourish like the palm tree. They will grow like a cedar of Lebanon. Psalm 92:12. So, what I have placed within you does not carry the nature of the temporary, but the weight of endurance and expansion. You are not called only to stand firm for yourself. You are called to become a place of shelter, a source of strength, a ground where others find rest and direction. When I cause you to grow, it is not so you may rise above others, but so you may become part of something greater, a forest I am forming across generations. As it is written, they will be like a tree planted by the waters, its leaves remain green. Jeremiah 17:8. So the life I have placed within you does not sustain you alone, it nourishes those positioned around you. Let this settle deeply within you. Your victory does not end with you. It becomes a turning point for those who come after. What you overcome today becomes a smoother path for others tomorrow. What you learn through pain becomes wisdom that guides others away from unnecessary stumbling. You are not merely living your life, you are laying a foundation for steps yet to be taken. As it is written, one generation shall praise your works to another. Psalm 145:4. So, what I do in you is always meant to be carried forward. And now, I speak to you of another dimension, not only growth, but intentional victory. The seal I have placed upon you in this season carries the language of battle, yet not a battle of desperation or defense. This is the battle of one who knows authority has already been given. You do not step onto this field with fear. You step with the certainty that the outcome has been determined. As it is written, I have given you authority over all the power of the enemy. Luke 10:19. So, your position is not that of a victim. You are one entrusted with authority. You have passed through seasons of pressure, moments where you felt cornered, with no way of escape. Yet you did not see that it was in those places I was training you. I taught you how to stand when no one stood beside you. I taught you how to believe when there was no visible proof. I taught you how to remain steady when everything around you was shaking. Just as David learned to fight lions and bears in the wilderness before he ever faced Goliath. What you have gone through was not random, it was preparation for a greater victory. And when he stood before Goliath, he did not tremble, because he knew he came not in his own strength, but in the name of the Lord. 1 Samuel 17:45. In the same way, you do not enter this battle alone. Understand this clearly. The battle you are stepping into did not begin today. It began long ago within the wounds you carried, the losses you endured, the moments you stood alone when no one understood. Yet none of these were meant to destroy you. They were meant to shape you. And now, as you are positioned here, you are no longer one being tested. You are one who carries strategy. I am giving you not only strength, but discernment. Not only the ability to endure, but the ability to advance. You are not called to preserve what remains, you are called to reclaim what was lost. As it is written, I will restore to you the years that the locust has eaten. Joel 2:25. So what you believed was lost is not an ending. It is something that will be restored in a greater form. My beloved, step into this with the understanding that you are no longer behind. You are at the front not as one pushed forward, but as one chosen to lead. As you move, you are not only opening the way for yourself, but for those who will follow after you. And as you stand firm in the authority I have given you, you will see that victory is no longer something you hope to reach. It is something you are now carrying out. So grow in your vision. Expand your heart to receive the responsibility. You are not a forgotten seed. You are the seed of a great tree, carrying within you the capacity to form an entire forest. And I am causing you to grow, not merely so you may exist, but so you may become a source of life for generations. I have given, I have placed, and now I send you not to search for victory, but to walk in the victory that was appointed for you from the beginning. My beloved child, listen deeply, for what I am placing upon your lips is not merely speech. It is a sound that awakens. When you speak in agreement with me, you are not trying to persuade anyone. The life within you will reach places that reason cannot touch. There are souls that have remained asleep in hesitation. Yet when they hear you, they will sense something they cannot explain, a stirring to rise. As it is written, the mouth of the righteous is a fountain of life. Proverbs 10:11. So, what flows from you is not just sound, but a current of awakening. You do not need to learn leadership as the world defines it. I do not call you into it through effort or technique. I cause it to emerge from within you, like light breaking forth at dawn without force, without display. When you stand in the place I have appointed, leadership will naturally manifest. As it is written, a city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Matthew 5:14. So when I place you in position, you do not need to strive to be seen. The light within you will reveal itself. You will begin to see this clearly. When you make a decision with clarity, those around you will find release from their hesitation. When you step forward, they will see that movement is possible. When you remain steady, they will understand that stability is real, not because you are perfect, but because you carry my mark. Their souls will recognize it even before they can express it. As it is written, my sheep hear my voice, and they follow me. John 10:27. So the resonance does not come from who you are alone, but from my presence within you. Understand this metaphor clearly. My beloved, you are not only one who carries the torch, you are one who passes it on. The flame in your hand is not a personal possession, but a trust. It is designed to spread. When you give it, you do not lose it, you are increased. For the fire from heaven is not divided, it multiplies. As it is written, a generous person will prosper. Proverbs 11:25. So, every time you share the light within you grows stronger, clearer, and deeper. Remember the account when Elisha asked Elijah for a double portion of his spirit. When Elijah was taken up, Elisha did not receive it for himself alone. He became a source of miracles, of transformation, of restoration for the people. What he received did not end with him. It flowed through him. So it is with you. What I have placed within you does not stop at you. It is designed to move through you and touch many others. As it is written, whoever believes in me, rivers of living water will flow from within them. John 7:38. So you are not the destination, you are the vessel. My beloved, understand this with certainty. Your legacy is not something you leave behind at the end of your journey. Your legacy begins the moment you stand in the right place. The moment you come into agreement with me, the moment you step into what has been appointed, the flow has already begun. Every action you take, every word you speak, every decision you make is shaping what will continue beyond you. So, do not wait until you feel ready enough to give. Do not wait until you are perfect to lead. I did not choose you because you were perfect. I chose you because you were willing to be used. And as you walk in that willingness, I will accomplish the rest. As it is written, not by might nor by power, but by my Spirit, Zechariah 4-6. So the spread does not come from your strength, it comes from me through you. Stand, my beloved. Speak, step forward, and as you do, you will see you are no longer living for yourself alone. You are passing the fire. You are opening the way. You are becoming a point of convergence where souls find direction. Not because you are the source, but because you connect them to the source. I have placed the fire within you, and that fire was not created to be held, it was created to spread. My beloved child, stand firm in your spirit in this hour, for I am placing you in a position where you are no longer merely a participant, but a leader within the field I am unfolding. What I give you is not a fleeting feeling, but established authority. You no longer walk as one searching in darkness. You walk as one who has seen the light and now carries it forward. As it is written, the Lord is my light and my salvation, whom shall I fear? Psalm 27:1. So your steps are no longer governed by fear, but by certainty. I have placed within you not only strength to endure, but vision to go before. You will begin to see beyond what the natural eye can perceive, to understand more deeply than circumstances suggest. This is because I am giving you strategy not of human origin, but discernment from heaven. When you stand before decisions, you will hear within yourself a clear sound, like a trumpet of confirmation, not pressing you, but affirming you. As it is written, I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will guide you with my eye. Psalm 32:8. So you need not be troubled at crossroads. I am guiding you step by step. Understand this. My beloved, the battle you are stepping into is not meant to test you, but to reveal you. What I have placed within you from the beginning is now being brought into the light. Not so you may prove that you can, but so you may operate in what has already been ordained. As you move forward, you will sense a support that cannot be seen with the eyes, yet is clear enough for you to know that you are not alone. As it is written, those who are with us are more than those who are with them. 2 Kings 6:16. So the backing you carry is not distant, it surrounds you, stands behind you, and covers you. When challenges arise, you will notice a shift in how you perceive them. Where you once saw danger, you will now see opportunity. Where you once felt pressure, you will now recognize a place for victory to be revealed. For I am not only changing your circumstances, I am transforming your perspective. Just as David stood before Goliath and did not see an unbeatable giant, but an opportunity for my power to be displayed. 1 Samuel 17:45. So it will be with you. What stands before you is no longer a threat, it is a stage for triumph. And now, I speak over you not as encouragement, but as establishment. You are one who bears the seal, a mark that cannot be erased, a confirmation that you belong to me and are sent by me. You are one who carries the fire, a flame that not only warms you, but lights the path for others. You are one who carries a legacy not to hold, but to release and extend. You do not stand only for today, you stand as a marker for those who will come after you. As it is written, be strong and courageous, for the Lord your God goes with you. Joshua 1-9. So your firmness becomes a foundation for others. You do not fight only to win, you fight to open the way. So those after you do not have to fight the same battles again. You do not live only to receive, you live to create a current through which life continues to flow across generations. What once lay dormant will continue to awaken. What was once held back will now accelerate. What once restrained you will fall away like chains that have lost their strength. You no longer walk in uncertainty, you walk as one who carries the torch. one who opens the way, one who passes on the flame. And I declare this with certainty, the fire within you will not be extinguished, not because you sustain it, but because I am the one who ignited it. As it is written, the light of the righteous will not be put out, Proverbs 13:9. So the light you carry will continue to burn regardless of circumstance. Go, my beloved, with a steadfast heart, with eyes made bright, and with the posture of one who carries an inheritance. For now, you are not merely living within a promise, you are operating within what has already been established from heaven. Thank you for listening to this message. Know this, you are not merely a viewer, you are one chosen to live daily in the presence of the Word of God. Do not forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you do not miss any spiritual messages. Amen. My beloved child, quiet your heart in this moment not to seek comfort, but to receive a truth that has the power to transform you. I do not come to you with gentle words that lull you into delay, but with a call that reaches into the depths of your soul, a call that will no longer allow you to remain at the threshold of almost, a place you have lingered in for far too long. For I have seen what you have not yet seen, a life held back not because you lack ability, but because you have grown accustomed to standing at the door without daring to step through it. There are unseen veils that have settled over your mind, not loud, not obvious, yet subtle enough to keep you in a state of incompletion. You believe you are moving forward, yet in truth, you circle the same point. You think you are preparing, yet you are delaying obedience. And I do not condemn you. For as it is written, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, Hosea 4:6. But now that light has been revealed. You can no longer remain in that blurred space. Understand this deeply. My child, where you are standing is not your destination, it is only a crossroads. On one side is the light of truth, where you must release the illusions that once made you feel safe. On the other side is familiarity, where you may continue living without change, yet never step into what I have appointed for you. And I am calling you, not with pressure, but with the authority of love, to step out of that place of almost. You have come very close to what I have promised, so close that you can sense it. Imagine it, even touch it by faith, yet one thing remains missing, full surrender. Just as the people of Israel stood before the promised land, they saw and heard, yet turned back in fear. And because of this, they wandered 40 more years. Numbers 13:14. I do not desire for you to repeat that cycle. I do not want you to live in the possibility of what could be, without ever experiencing what has already been prepared. So I speak to you plainly. What holds you back is not circumstance, nor people, but the hesitation hidden deep within your heart. A part of you still clings to what is familiar, even when it no longer serves you. A part of you fears that if you step fully into the light, you will have to release the layers that once defined you. But hear me clearly, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. John 8:32. Freedom does not come from holding on to the old, but from daring to step into the new that I am opening before you. You are not called to remain at the edge of transformation. You were not created to merely sense without acting, to understand without stepping forward. I have placed within you a seed of completion, and it cannot grow if you keep yourself confined within safety. As it is written, forgetting those things which are behind and reaching forward to those things which are ahead, Philippians 3:13. For the past is not where you are called to dwell, it is only where you were meant to learn. Now I do not merely invite you, I activate you. I am awakening the part within you that has long been dormant through cycles of repetition. I am stirring within you a new awareness, where you no longer settle for what is good enough, but begin to long for fullness. And you will not experience this merely as a thought, but as an undeniable inner urging, an urgency that makes it clear you can no longer return to the way you once lived. My beloved child, do not let the unrest you feel become a reason to withdraw. Let it be the sign that you are being called forward. True transformation is always accompanied by an initial disruption. Yet trust this, I do not lead you into uncertainty to abandon you. I lead you through it to establish you. As it is written, I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. Psalm 32:8. You are not walking alone. I am guiding you step by step. So do not remain in the place where you only almost touch. Do not persuade yourself that tomorrow will be easier to begin. This moment is the door, and the door does not remain open forever. When you sense this call, it is because I am near, already making a way before you. If you step, you will see. If you obey, you will understand. But if you delay, you will remain in the cycle of almost. Rise, my child, not by your own strength, but through trust, not because you are perfectly ready, but because I have prepared you sufficiently to move forward. And when you step out of that blurred place, you will realize this: what you feared losing were only shadows, while what I have prepared for you is a reality of glory you have never yet experienced. My beloved child, pause for a moment and look deeply within yourself, not through the lens of fear or habit, but through the light of truth now being revealed. I see you standing between two veils of mist before you, a light that gently yet firmly touches you. Behind you, a familiar darkness pulling you back, not with force, but with quiet persistence. It is in this place of tension that you have lingered too long, thinking you were slowly advancing, when in truth, you have been circling a point that has never been broken. And I do not come to make you comfortable there. I come to call you out of it. There are unseen layers surrounding your thoughts, not obvious enough to be easily identified, yet subtle enough to deceive you into believing you are on the right path. You have grown accustomed to the feeling of being almost there, accustomed to nearing without crossing over, accustomed to holding on to a measure of safety even when it no longer belongs to you. But hear me, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Romans 12:2. True renewal is not the refinement of an old cycle, it is the courage to break it. And now, I am unveiling each layer you have not been able to name, not to condemn you, but to release you, for what has held you back is not weakness, but illusions so long accepted that they have come to feel normal. You believed you were waiting for the right time, yet you were delaying obedience. You thought you needed more signs, yet you have already received enough light to step forward. You felt unready, but that was only the echo of the old self, unwilling to let go. Understand this clearly. My beloved child, it only takes one moment of courage, one moment in which you look directly at the truth without turning away, and every layer of illusion will lose its ground before you. Light does not need to struggle against darkness, it only needs to be present. And darkness must withdraw, and you carry that light within you. What I am awakening in you is not a new version of yourself, it is your true self. The one that has always been there, waiting to be named. I do not speak to you with the haste of the world, but with the urgency of divine timing. There are moments that do not repeat, doors that do not remain open forever. And this is one of those moments when you feel this inner stirring. It is not pressure, it is the sign that you are standing at a threshold. As it is written, arise, shine, for your light has come, Isaiah 60:1. And that light is not merely shining upon you, it is rising from within you. Do not be afraid when you feel everything beginning to shake. This is not a sign that you are losing something, it is a sign that what is not real is being dismantled. And when the mist clears, you will see with clarity, you were never truly stuck, you had simply not yet stepped forward. And when you do step, you will no longer remain in between. You will become one who is sent. My beloved child, your moment is no longer somewhere ahead, it is here. And when you choose to step out of the place of almost, you will enter into the flow of acceleration that I have prepared for you, not by striving, but by aligning yourself with my movement. For I am the life that is in motion, the reality being revealed, the glory no longer concealed. And you, when you dare to step, will become part of that revelation. So rise, not in perfection, but in obedience. Step forward, not because you understand everything, but because you trust. And when you do, you will see that everything that once held you back was only an illusion. As for you, you are always destined to move forward, to be sent, to live out fully the sacred identity I have written into your life from the very beginning. My beloved child, before you reassure yourself that everything is already sufficient, I invite you to look deeper into the inner rhythm of your soul, where what seems enough is quietly slowing your steps. You have indeed come far. You have grown. You have learned to carry light even through dark days. And I see that. But be careful, for there is a voice, soft, reasonable, easily accepted, that whispers, "This is enough." And in that moment, another veil appears, not as dense as darkness, yet subtle enough to make you stop without realizing that you have stopped. I do not deny what you have achieved, but neither do I allow you to make it your final place. For what I have placed within you is not a journey toward mere stability, but a journey into fullness. As it is written, be perfect. Therefore, as your heavenly Father is perfect, Matthew 5:48, this is not a burden, it is an invitation into the true nature of who you are, a nature that does not settle for being better than yesterday, but continues to be transformed to reflect me more clearly. You see, the illusion of enough does not oppose me. It simply persuades you to be satisfied with only a portion of me. It does not pull you into darkness, but keeps you at the edge of light, where you can see, where you can feel, yet never truly step in. It leads you to compare yourself with your past or with others, making you believe you have gone far, while I am calling you deeper. And it is this quiet satisfaction that causes many souls to stop just before the threshold of something greater. Remember the people of Israel in the wilderness. They saw the cloud by day and the pillar of fire by night. They tasted manna from heaven and witnessed the sea being parted. Yet all of these, though miraculous, were never the destination. The destination was the promised land. And when they stood before Canaan, they chose to remain with what was familiar, driven by fear and by a quiet belief that what they already had was good enough. As it is written, we are not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we are. Numbers 13:31. It was not that the promise was withheld from them, but that they accepted stopping short of it. And the consequence was not the loss of light, but wandering in an in-between place, where fullness was never realized. My beloved child, I do not want you to live in the wilderness of enough. I have not called you to experience my presence in fragments, but to step into the fullness of what I have ordained. You have not yet reached the limits of what I have placed within you. You have not yet expressed the full depth of the light I have sown in you. And if you stop now, it will not be because you lack ability, but because you have embraced a false definition of completion. Let this be etched deeply within you. You have not yet lived out all that I have placed in you. This is not a rebuke, it is an invitation filled with hope. For if you have not yet lived it fully, it means there is still more awaiting you. There are depths you have not touched, influence you have not carried, and glory that has not yet been revealed through your life. I am not in haste. but neither do I desire for you to delay. Do not allow stability to become your refuge from calling. Do not let what is merely good cause you to miss what has been appointed. For as it is written, I have come that they may have life, and have it more abundantly, John 10:10, not abundance as a feeling, but as the full expression of the identity I have written within you, my beloved child. If you continue to hold on to the thought that this is enough, you will remain at the border, seeing the promised land, yet never stepping into it. But the moment you release that thought, the moment you dare to acknowledge that there is more, the door will open. And when you step through, you will realize that what you once called enough was only the beginning of what I truly intend to do through you. My beloved child, I see within you a familiar pause, not because you lack light, but because you are holding yourself back with a reason that appears wise. Wait a little longer. You believe that with one more sign, one stronger confirmation, one perfect moment, you will step forward with greater certainty. But I say to you gently and firmly, this waiting has become the most subtle net holding you still, even as you think you are preparing to move. Look back at your journey not through vague memory, but through truth. How many times have I illuminated your path? How many times have you understood what must be done? How many times have you felt an inner prompting so clear it could not be denied, as it is written? Faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of God, Romans 10:17. You have heard enough to believe. You have seen enough to recognize. What is missing is not more light, but the step that responds to it. You stand within a paradox. The longer you wait, the more you feel you are approaching certainty. Yet in truth, you are moving further from obedience. For faith is not completed in thought, but in action. Faith without works is dead, James 2:17. And the first act of faith is always to step forward before the path is fully visible. You are not called to understand everything before you move. You are called to move, and then understanding will follow. Remember the people of Israel at the Red Sea. The waters did not part while they stood observing. The path did not appear while they remained in waiting. Only when they began to move according to my word did the sea open before them. Yet there are souls who stand before a miracle and still do not step, not because the miracle has not occurred, but because they have not believed enough to act. Do you see? Delay does not come from me. It arises from hesitation within your own heart. And I know what you have not spoken aloud, deep within. You fear that if you step forward before the right moment, you might fail. But hear me clearly. Do not be afraid, for I am with you. Isaiah 41:10. Your assurance does not rest on everything being perfectly aligned. It rests on my presence in every step you take. The perfect timing you seek is not something prepared externally. It is the moment you choose to obey. Look at the parable of the talents. The servant who was given the least did not lose because he lacked ability, but because he buried what he had, waiting for something safer, more certain. Yet that waiting was not called wisdom, it was called unfaithfulness. Matthew 25-26. Do you see? What I have placed within you was not given for you to preserve until you feel secure, but for you to activate in trust. My beloved child, I will not give you more signs, not because I am withholding, but because I have already revealed enough. The light you now carry is sufficient for your first step. The understanding within you is enough to begin the journey. What you call not enough is, in truth, fear dressed in the language of reason, delaying you in a form that appears justified. Let this word cut through every layer of your thinking. You do not lack more signs, you lack the step. And that step does not need to be large, nor perfect. It only needs to be real. When you step, even in smallness, you break the cycle of waiting. When you act, even in simplicity, you step out of the invisible net that has held you still. Step forward now, for the moment you have been searching for is not ahead of you, It is contained within the decision you make in this very instant. My beloved child, before you fully recognize what I am doing within you, there is another veil quietly shaping how you see yourself, a layer not loud or harsh, but persist, like a thin cord wrapped around your identity over the years. You have grown accustomed to defining yourself by what has happened to you, by what others have spoken over you, by failures that have left their imprint in your memory. And gradually, these are no longer just memories, they become definitions. You do not merely remember that you were once weak. You begin to believe that weakness is your nature. You do not merely recall that you stumbled. You begin to see yourself as one who always falls. But today I speak to you with the power of truth. You are not who you used to be. Understand this clearly. My beloved child, the past may tell its story, but it does not have the authority to define your identity. I am the one who writes who you are, not the things you have been through. As it is written, therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. Old things have passed away. Behold, all things have become new. 2 Corinthians 5:17. This is not merely a beautiful idea, it is a spiritual reality. Yet that reality only becomes alive in you when you stop seeing yourself through the old lens and begin to accept how I see you. You see, this illusion does not cause you to turn away from me. It simply causes you to shrink yourself while still believing in me. You continue to pray, to seek, to listen, but deep within, you do not believe that you are the one who can step into what I have spoken. You believe the promise is real, but you are unsure if it is meant for you. And at that very point, the illusion completes its work, not by destroying your faith in me, but by weakening your faith in the self I have created you to be. Remember Gideon. When I called him a mighty warrior, he did not deny me, he denied himself. He spoke of his weakness, of his low position, of his insignificance. Judges 6:15. But I did not argue with his feelings. I declared his identity, for what I saw in him was not based on his past, but on what I had placed within him from the beginning. And as he began to act according to my word, even while trembling, that identity gradually became his reality. You are standing in such a moment now. I am calling you by a name different from the one you have grown used to calling yourself. I do not call you according to what you have experienced. I call you according to what you were created to become. But if you continue to hold on to your old perspective, you will keep living beneath the design I have set for you. Not because you are lacking, but because you are not allowing yourself to step into what has already been given. There are voices within you that are not mine, yet you have heard them so often that they feel like truth. Words such as, I am not good enough. I am not like others. I have failed too many times. I am not worthy. But consider this. Where do those voices lead you? They do not lead you into life. They do not open a path. They do not bring freedom. As it is written, the thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life, and have it abundantly. John 10:10. Every voice that does not lead you into life does not come from me. Let me remind you of a story you may not have fully paused to understand. There was a woman who had suffered from a flow of blood for 12 years. She lived in weakness and isolation, not only carrying a physical condition, but also a confined identity shaped by illness, rejection, and the judgment of others. But when she reached out and touched me, it was not only her body that was healed, her identity was restored. I did not call her the woman who had been sick. I called her daughter, Mark 5:34. Her new identity did not come from what she had endured, but from her relationship with me. And from that moment, she no longer lived as who she once was. My beloved child, that is how I am calling you as well, not according to the wounds you carry, but according to the place you hold in me. Yet there is one thing you must do. You must stop agreeing with the old definition of yourself, not by denying the past, but by refusing to let it govern the present. For if you continue to measure who you are now by who you once were, you will always feel lacking, always feel unready, always feel as though you are not enough. I am not asking you to become someone else. I am restoring you to your true self, the one I knew before any wound ever touched you. And, as it is written, you are precious and honored in my sight. And I love you, Isaiah 43:4. Your worth is not determined by what has happened to you, but by the one who created you. So hear this clearly. You are not who you used to be. You are not bound by what once shaped you. You are not limited by what you have believed about yourself. You are being invited into a new identity, an identity rooted not in the past, but in the truth I am speaking over you now. And when you begin to live from that identity, you will see that the things which once caused you to shrink back will lose their power. The fears that once made you doubt will lose their voice, and you will stand firm not because you have never stumbled, but because you no longer define yourself by those stumblings. My beloved child, do not live beneath the design I have given you. Do not call yourself by a name I have never spoken over you. Rise in this truth, and let every step you take from this point forward be led no longer by the old self, but by your true self, the one I have written with light, with purpose, and with a glory that cannot remain hidden. My beloved child, even when you think you understand what is happening within your heart, there are still deeper layers silently shaping the way you live, not through noise, but through feelings that seem almost normal. One of these is the lingering sense of weariness, of fatigue without a clear source, causing you to conclude that you are growing weaker. You attribute it to the body, to pressure, to circumstance. But I see deeper, and I tell you this: you are not tired because you lack strength. You are tired because you are carrying a weight greater than the rhythm of life you are forcing yourself to live within. Listen to this carefully. My beloved child, there are souls created to carry the frequency of heaven, yet they try to live by the rhythm of the earth. And it is this misalignment that produces exhaustion. You are carrying more than you realize, a weight of purpose, a depth of calling, but instead of flowing in my rhythm, you are trying to handle everything by your own strength, by the rhythm of striving. And that does not make you stronger. It slowly drains you. As it is written, He gives power to the faint, and to those who have no might, He increases strength. Isaiah 40:29. This does not only mean that I restore you when you are weak. It also means that the source of your strength is not within yourself. When you move outside of my flow, even the strength you possess becomes a burden. But when you return to my rhythm, what once exhausted you will become the very thing that sustains you. Remember Elijah. After great victories, he collapsed beneath a tree and asked to die, believing he had no strength left. Yet I did not rebuke him, nor did I accuse him of lacking faith. I simply touched him with a piece of bread, a drink of water, and my presence. And when he ate and rested, he rose and ran for 40 days. 1 Kings 19. Do you see? His strength had not disappeared. It had only been obstructed because he was no longer aligned with the right rhythm. When he was touched in the right way, that strength began to flow again. You are the same, my beloved child. Your strength has never truly run out. It has only been restrained by the way you have been operating. You have been strong for too long, in your own way, enduring, striving, holding yourself together. But I did not call you to survive by endurance. I called you to live in the flow of life. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Matthew 11:28. That rest is not the cessation of all things, but a change of rhythm from striving to trusting, And when this illusion collapses, you will no longer see weariness as evidence of weakness, but as a signal that you are being invited back to the source. You will begin to understand that what you need is not more strength, but the right flow. And when you stand within that flow, strength will no longer be something you search for. It will become something that moves through you. But deeper still, my beloved child, there is another layer holding you back, one that not only affects how you feel, but shapes the entire way you live, the illusion of survival. This is where you no longer merely slow down, you begin to shrink. You begin to live as one who must hold back, defend, and ensure that you do not lose the small measure of peace you have. And from there, your decisions no longer arise from life, but from the fear of loss. You do not call it fear, you call it being careful. You do not call it shrinking, you call it stability. But I see its true nature, a soul that has experienced lack for so long that even when the door opens, you do not dare to step through. Like the people of Israel after leaving Egypt, though they were freed, they still carried a slave mentality, always longing to return to what was familiar when faced with the new Exodus 16. Not because they were not free, but because they had not yet learned to live as those who are free. My beloved child, I did not rescue you so that you would live in a survival mode. I did not bring you out of darkness so that you would continue to shrink within the light. I have come that they may have life, and have it abundantly, John 10:10. That abundance is not only in what you receive, it is in how you live, open, expansive, willing to step into more, rather than clinging to what you already have. Hear my word clearly, and let it pierce through every layer of fear. You are not called to survive, you are sent. You were not created merely to hold on to breath, you were created to breathe life into the environment around you. You are not one who runs from what may happen, you are one who steps into what I have ordained. You did not choose me, but I chose you, that you should go and bear fruit. John 15:16. Go, not remain. Bear fruit, not merely exist. If you continue to live in survival mode, you will always feel a sense of lack, always feel the need to hold on, always fear losing. But when you step out of it, you will realize that your source does not lie in what you keep, but in the one to whom you belong, and that source never runs dry. Therefore, my beloved child, let both of these layers collapse at once. Do not accept weariness as your destiny. Do not accept shrinking as wisdom. Return to my rhythm, where your strength is restored, and step into the life I have prepared for you, where you no longer hold back, but begin to pour out. For you were not called to merely get through each day. You were called to break through, to expand, to live as an unrestrained flow. And when you stand in that position, you will see this clearly. You were never truly weak. You were never truly depleted. You were simply being called back to the place from which everything within you is released. My beloved child, let your heart grow still in this moment, not to escape, but to truly hear. I do not come to you with a voice of judgment, but with the breath of the one who has seen every fracture within you and still chose to remain. I know the nights when you lay there trying to piece yourself together through unanswered questions. I know the times you smiled at the world while something inside you was breaking. I know the moments you said, "I'm fine," as a thin covering over a weariness you could not even name. And because I know, I do not accuse you, I simply call you to awaken. For there is a truth you must see if you do not recognize the layers of illusion that have surrounded your mind. You will continue to live within a subtle cycle, a cycle that makes you believe you are progressing in your spiritual life, while in reality, you are circling the same point. As it is written, "These people honor me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me." Matthew 15:8. Not because they intended to turn away, but because they did not recognize the distance that had formed. And so it is with you, not that you do not long for me, but that there are veils preventing you from clearly seeing where you truly stand. But hear me clearly. My beloved, I have appointed this time so that you will no longer remain in the state of almost, no longer standing at the boundary, no longer hesitating between two realms, no longer living in the overlap where light and darkness coexist. For you were not created to remain there, you were created to cross over. I have set before you life and death, therefore choose life. Deuteronomy 30:19. And life is not found in standing between, it is found in the decision to step into the light. I desire to bring you to the other side, not by force, but by the leading of love. It is not a distant place, but a different state of being, where you no longer strive to operate in your own way, but move in alignment with my flow, where you no longer contain the light, but release it from within, where you no longer live reactively, but live as one who carries the reality of my kingdom into the ordinary. As it is written, the kingdom of God is not a matter of eating and drinking, but of righteousness, peace, and joy in the Holy Spirit. Romans 14:17. This is the reality I am opening to you, a life not limited by circumstances, but shaped by my presence. Remember the story of Elisha as he followed Elijah. When Elijah was about to be taken up, Elisha did not stop at any station, though he had every opportunity to turn back. He continued walking, continued following, continued pressing through each place of transition, Gilgal, Bethel, Jericho, until he received a double portion, 2 Kings 2. This did not happen because he was perfect, but because he refused to stop midway. He did not accept enough, nor did he wait for additional signs. He moved in step with me, and it was that steadfastness that brought him into the realm of manifestation. My beloved child, I am placing my hand upon your shoulder as a father would, not to force you to move faster, but to help you see more clearly the things you could not recognize on your own. I am now revealing before your eyes, not to overwhelm you, but to set you free. For when you see what has held you back, it no longer has the power to control you. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. John 8:32. Freedom does not come from striving to escape, but from realizing that you were never truly bound to what held you. And now, as you stand at this threshold, I do not require you to understand everything I am doing. I simply invite you to open your heart, to open not in order to control, but to receive. For what I am about to reveal will touch the deepest layers within you, where spirit, soul, and body converge. As it is written, the word of God is living and powerful, piercing even to the division of soul and spirit, joints and marrow. Hebrews 4:12. What I speak is not merely words, it is movement. It is light. It is the separation of what is true from what is only a surface layer. My beloved child, do not be afraid when you feel yourself being uncovered. This is not loss, it is liberation. Do not fear when what is familiar begins to shake. This is not a sign that you are wrong. It is a sign that you are stepping out of what no longer belongs to you. And as you continue to open yourself, you will see that I am not only revealing what must be released, but also giving you what you have never dared to receive. So let your soul open, without defense, without delay, without avoidance. For what I am speaking is not merely for you to hear, it is for you to become. And as you continue walking in this truth, you will no longer be one who stands at the edge of what I have promised, but one who steps into it, operates within it, and fully reveals what has been written in the scroll of your life from the beginning. My beloved child, let this word reach the deepest place within you, the place where you have convinced yourself that things are stable enough to stop. I see how you hold on to stability as an anchor, and I understand why, for stability keeps you from facing the steps that require faith. But see this clearly. Not all stability comes from me. There are places of calm that your own soul has constructed to avoid a higher calling. And it is there that you begin to fall asleep within a limitation I never established. The illusion of enough does not come as darkness. It comes like sweetness, gentle, comforting, and reasonable. It makes you feel as though you have matured, progressed, become different from before. And that is not wrong. The error lies in turning progress into a destination. You begin to settle within a framework smaller than what I designed for you. As it is written, "Truly my soul finds rest in God." Psalm 62:1. For true rest is not found in stopping, but in continuing to move in me, unbound by fear or complacency. Remember the people of Israel receiving manna each day. I sustained them, cared for them, and demonstrated my faithfulness. Yet manna was never the destination. It was only provision for the journey. When they began to treat it as enough, they unknowingly accepted a temporary existence instead of stepping into the promised land where fruit would not only sustain them, but cause them to grow. You are the same. My beloved child, you may be grateful for what you have, but do not let gratitude become the reason you stop moving forward. For true gratitude does not make you settle, it causes you to long for more of what I have promised. I know there is a longing within you that you once suppressed, a deep call you were afraid to face, because you did not want to be seen as ambitious, misunderstood, or stepping beyond the safety of what is familiar. But hear me clearly, that longing is not a distortion, it is a sign. Open your mouth wide, and I will fill it. Psalm 81:10. I did not place within you a wide capacity only to ask you to shrink it. I did not plant within you a potential for expansion only for you to maintain the same level. If you sense that there is more awaiting you, that is not illusion. It is the echo of the design I have placed within you. So, my beloved child, release the idea of enough, not through dissatisfaction, but through awakening. Recognize that you have not yet lived out all that I have written within you. And when you allow me to touch that suppressed longing, you will see that it does not lead you into pride, but into manifestation. For you were not created to exist at a single level. You were created to carry and express my glory. Yet, the moment you begin to recognize this, another voice emerges, more subtle, more reasonable, the voice of, wait a little longer. You tell yourself that you need more confirmation, more signs, more certainty, and it sounds wise. But I see what lies beneath it, not a lack of light, but the whisper of fear still lingering. You have already received enough. You have already seen enough. You have already understood enough to step forward. Yet you wait for your heart to stop trembling, for your emotions to settle, for everything to become clearer. And I say to you, faith does not wait for emotion. The righteous shall live by faith. Romans 1:17. Not by perfect certainty, but by obedience in what is not yet fully seen. Remember the moment when Israel stood before the sea. The waters did not part while they stood observing. The sea did not open further to convince them. The path appeared only when they stepped. And in that step, what was impossible became reality. You are in such a moment now. If you continue to wait, you will not see more, because what you are seeking only appears when you act. I do not ask you to step when you feel no fear. I ask you to step while you are still trembling, for it is in that trembling that faith is born. Be strong and courageous, for the Lord your God is with you. Joshua 1-9. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is moving forward despite it, because you trust me more than your fear. My beloved child, the one who waits will miss the moment. The one who delays will remain at the edge of what I have opened. but the one who dares to step even without perfection, without full certainty, will see the door open at their feet. So learn to step while your heart is still pounding. Learn to move while your mind is not yet fully settled. Learn to trust that one word from me is enough to begin. For you do not need more signs, you need a step. And when you step, you will realize that what you have been waiting for is not ahead of you. It has always been there, waiting for you to believe enough to reach out and touch it. My beloved child, before you even realize it, there are unseen mirrors quietly shaping the way you see yourself, not by the truth I have placed within you, but by fragments of memory you have held onto for far too long. You begin to name yourself by what you have experienced: a failure, a word that wounded you, a season when you felt you were not enough. And then you call that humility, thinking that lowering your view of yourself protects you from pride. But I tell you with the clarity of light, that is not humility. It is a distorted lens that has caused you to forget your true image. I look at you and see what you have never dared to believe. I do not see you through your stumbles. I see you through what I have written in the scroll of your life from the very beginning. As it is written, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations. Jeremiah 1:5. Do you understand? Your identity does not begin with experience. It begins with my intention. But if you continue to view yourself through what has happened to you, you will live beneath what has already been ordained. Remember Gideon. When I called him a mighty warrior, he did not argue with me. He simply did not believe it applied to him. He looked at his family, his circumstances, his sense of weakness, and from there, he defined himself. But I did not change my calling. I changed the way he saw. And when he dared to step, even while trembling, his true identity began to emerge. So it is with you, my beloved child. You cannot step into acceleration while still carrying the yoke of, "This is all I am." That yoke does not come from me. It was formed by what you have experienced and have not yet released. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. John 8:32. But that truth is not only about me, it is also about you. And often the hardest thing is not believing in me, but believing that what I say about you is true. You have become so accustomed to your feelings that you have mistaken them for truth. But I remind you, what feels real is not always what is true. Feelings can arise from wounds. Truth comes from me. Remember Moses before the burning bush. When I called him, his immediate response was to point to his limitations. Who am I that I should go? Exodus 3:11. He did not deny me, he denied himself. Yet I did not adjust my calling to match his doubt. I invited him into something greater than his perception of himself. And when he obeyed, he was no longer a fleeing shepherd. He became the deliverer of a nation. My beloved child, I am inviting you to do the same. Release the way you have defined yourself, and allow me to redefine you by my light. Let my voice become louder than your memories. Let my word carry more weight than your feelings. Let the image I have placed within you become the reality you step into. For you are not ashes, you are fire. You are not one being dragged along, you are one who is sent. But as you begin to touch that true identity, another sensation arises, a lingering, persistent weariness, as though you have been emptied. You interpret it as weakness. You wonder if you have the strength to continue. But I tell you a truth you have not yet seen this way. You are not tired because you are weak. You are tired because the strength within you has no place to flow. Imagine a powerful stream of water being blocked. It does not lose its strength, it becomes compressed, restrained, and that very obstruction creates pressure. You are the same. My beloved child, within you flows a current of life, of purpose, of kingdom energy. But when you shrink yourself to fit into the rhythm of the ordinary, when you live beneath what I have placed within you, that flow is restricted, And that restriction does not bring you peace, it produces weariness. As it is written, "Those who wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles." Isaiah 40-31. Do you see? Strength is not merely for endurance, it is meant for flight. But if you continue trying to live at ground level while your design belongs to the wind, you will always feel weighed down. Not because you lack strength, but because you are living at the wrong level. Remember Elijah when he collapsed beneath the tree. He believed he was finished, that he could go no further. Yet after he was touched, nourished, and restored, he rose and walked for 40 days and nights. 1 Kings 19. That did not happen because strength suddenly appeared. It happened because he was brought back into the right rhythm. The strength had always been there. It only needed to reconnect to its source. My beloved child, the weariness you feel is not your end. It is a signal. It is telling you that you are no longer called to live within the old framework. It is urging you to step into a new rhythm, the rhythm of one who is sent. And when you step into it, you will notice something remarkable. Your energy will no longer drain as it once did. Instead of being depleted, you will be renewed daily. For you will no longer be operating from your own strength, you will be flowing within mine. I can do all things through him who strengthens me, Philippians 4:13. This is not a slogan, it is a principle of life. When you move with me, strength is no longer something you must preserve, it becomes something that flows through you. When you stand in the right place, you no longer struggle just to exist, you begin to live. So, my beloved child, release the way you have seen yourself. Step out from under the yoke of old definitions. And when you do not be afraid. If you feel the energy within you begin to move more powerfully, that is not loss of control, it is life being released. You are not weak. You are not depleted. You are being called back into your true position where you no longer strive to survive, but begin to flow as a living stream. And when you stand there, you will see, you are not only restored, you are activated. My beloved child, stand upright in your soul at this very moment, for I am touching the deepest layer within you, not your thoughts, not your surface emotions, but the pattern by which you have learned to survive. I see how you withdraw when faced with uncertainty. I see how you hold back your energy, your hope, as though releasing it would cause you to lose everything. And you have called this wisdom. You have called it self-protection. But I speak to you with truth that cannot be avoided. This is the illusion of survival. Survival is not your nature. It is a response formed through wounds, through seasons of lack, through moments when you had to protect yourself because you saw no way forward. But what once helped you endure a season must not become the way you live your entire life. For if you continue in a defensive mindset, you will always remain in a posture of holding back strength, holding back dreams, holding back your very self. And when you hold back for too long, you are no longer living, you are merely avoiding loss. I did not create you to live that way. My beloved child, the flow within you is not the current of one who hides, it is the current of one who makes a way. As it is written, the righteous are as bold as a lion, Proverbs 28:1. That is the image I have placed within you, not a trembling soul searching for shelter, but one who knows where they belong and steps forward with authority. Remember the generation of Joshua. They did not carry the mindset of those who had lived under bondage. They entered the promised land with a different spirit, the spirit of those chosen to possess. Be strong and courageous, for you shall lead this people to inherit the land. Joshua 1:6. Do you see? The calling is not given to one who is merely trying to survive. It is given to one willing to step forward, even when what lies ahead is not fully clear. And so it is with you. My beloved child, you cannot step into your sacred identity while holding on to a posture of avoidance. And now I speak this not as one explaining, but as one commissioning, you are sent. Not that you will be, not that you might be, but that you already are. You are no longer standing at the edge of your calling. You are no longer one who is learning merely to understand. You are being activated to carry it out. You did not choose me, but I chose you, that you should go and bear fruit. John 15:16. Go, that is movement. Bear fruit, that is manifestation. There is no place for survival within such a calling. My beloved child, let this word break every remaining limitation. You are not one who avoids pain. You are one who carries victory. You are not one who holds back just to have enough. You are one who pours out to create impact. You are not one who stands still for safety. You are one who is sent to transform the environment around you. And as you step into this, you will realize that what you once feared losing was never your source. Your source is me, and I never run dry. The kingdom of God is within you. Luke 17:21. This means you do not need to search outside for what I have already placed within. But if you continue to live in survival mode, you will never open that door. For the kingdom does not operate in contraction, it operates in expansion. Not in holding back, but in giving forth. Not in retreating, but in stepping in. And now, my beloved child, hear this as a commissioning, not an explanation. I am placing you into a new position, not because you are perfect, but because you are ready, not because you no longer feel fear, but because you have chosen to trust. I am calling you out of the in-between, out of the place where you both understand and delay, where you both see and still doubt. I am setting your feet into acceleration where every step you take will be multiplied by my presence. Remember Isaiah when he stood before me, when he was touched, when his lips were cleansed. The question was given, whom shall I send? And he did not remain to analyze, nor did he define himself by unworthiness. He responded, here am I. Send me, Isaiah, and I'm to the left. That was the moment of transition from one who understands to one who acts. And I am calling you into that very moment now. So rise, my beloved child, not in emotion, but in identity, not in the comfort of safety, but in the authority I have placed within you. Step forward as one who carries a mark, not to prove anything, but to reveal what has already been established. You are no longer in the place of almost. You are no longer at the boundary. You have been brought into movement. And when you step, you will see. You are not striving to win. You are operating from victory. You are not searching for your place. You are standing in it. You are not trying to become. You are revealing. Go now, my child, for I have spoken, and when I speak, movement begins. Engrave this deeply within your soul. For this is no longer explanation, it is a line that has been drawn. When light has broken through and the layers of illusion have fallen, you cannot return to who you once were. Not because I restrain you, but because truth has freed you from the blindness you once carried. As it is written, the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. John 1:5. Once you have seen, you cannot pretend you have not seen. Once you have heard, you cannot return to living as though you were never called. I stand before you now, not as an observer, but as the one who separates and defines. And I declare, you have been set apart from the realm of confusion. You no longer belong among those who hesitate, those who linger between light and darkness without choosing. You have been called out not to stand aside, but to enter into my velocity. This is not a gentle shift, it is a decisive cut of destiny. You are not merely changing direction, you are being changed in nature. Understand the image I set before you. You are the last of a generation that has grown accustomed to living in almost, and at the same time, you are the first of a generation stepping into manifestation. As Israel had one generation fall in the wilderness and another rise to enter the promise under Joshua, so you stand between two currents. One is the current of delay, fear, and survival. The other is the current of breakthrough, authority, and kingdom reality. And you, my beloved child, are the point of transition. You did not choose me, but I chose you, that you should go and bear fruit. John 15:16. This is not only about you, it is about the influence flowing through you. Every step you take will not only shape your life, but open pathways for those who come after you. Every chain you break within yourself becomes a door for another soul. You are no longer living for yourself alone. You are carrying a movement larger than you, a current through which many will begin to recognize the light. You have become a torchbearer in the night, not because you sought that position, but because you chose to step when others remained still. And as it is written, you are the light of the world, nor do they light a lamp and put it under a basket. Matthew 5:14-15. Light is not created to be hidden, and you have been ignited not to conceal, but to illuminate the way. And now I bring you into a new identity, not a title, but a living reality within you. You carry explosive glory. But understand this rightly, my beloved. This glory is not noise, not display, not performance for recognition. It is a field of presence. When you enter a place, the atmosphere shifts. When you speak, your words carry weight beyond sound. When you are silent, my presence within you still moves. This is the glory that does not demand attention, yet cannot be ignored. Walk in this, my beloved child, for what I have placed within you is no longer concealed, it is alive, moving, and ready to be revealed through every step you take. I am igniting the oil within you, my beloved child, not to consume, but to illuminate, not to make you the center, but to make you a channel. When you burn, you do not overshadow others. You awaken the light within them. When you live in this glory, you do not occupy space. You create space for life to move. Do not fear this ignition. Do not try to reduce it to feel safe. For if you suppress what I am lighting within you, you will return to the stagnation you once felt. But if you allow it to flow, you will see this clearly. You are not losing control, you are entering alignment. Remember John the Baptist, the one called a voice crying in the wilderness. He did not need a great position or a wide platform. Yet when he spoke, an entire generation was stirred, because he carried the weight of what I had placed within him. This is glory that does not rely on noise, yet cannot be ignored. So it is with you, my beloved child. When you walk in what I have placed within you, you do not need to prove anything. Your presence will speak for you. Stand firm. Then, in this separation, do not return to the place of confusion. Do not shrink back into what is familiar. You have crossed over. You have been called out. And you are being drawn into a movement in which you will not merely live, you will reveal. Go, not as one searching for the way, but as one who opens the way. For the glory rising within you is not meant to be contained, it is meant to extend, to illuminate, and to awaken what I have placed in many other souls. My beloved child, having crossed the boundary of uncertainty and no longer belonging to stillness, I bring you into a new awareness, not for you to understand with your mind, but to live through your spirit. Hear this deeply. You are no longer one who waits for something to happen. You have become one who carries movement. For I am the living one, and all that belongs to me is in motion. The Spirit of God was moving over the surface of the waters, Genesis 1:2. And when that Spirit dwells within you, you cannot remain in the old stagnation. I say to you, You are movement. This is not busyness, nor the pursuit of activity. It is a living flow arising from within. You begin to move like the wind, unrestricted by structure, undefined by the limits that once bound you. And as it is written, the wind blows where it wishes. You hear its sound, but cannot tell where it comes from or where it goes. John 3:8. This is the nature of one born of the Spirit, not controlled by fear, not confined by the past, but led by the life that is in motion. You will come to recognize this, my beloved child, not through theory, but through your own actions. The things you once avoided, you will begin to step into without force. The words you once withheld, you will begin to speak with clarity. The places you once thought you were unqualified to stand in, you will find yourself standing there. Not because you became different overnight, but because the movement within you has changed. It is no longer you striving to move forward. It is the life within you carrying you forward. Remember Peter when he stepped out of the boat. There was no visible assurance that the water would hold him. Yet when he stepped in the movement of my word. And in that moment, the natural order no longer governed him. So it is with you, my beloved child. When you move in my flow, circumstances are no longer the deciding factor. Obedience becomes the path that opens the way. I do not call you to wait for opportunities. I have placed within you the capacity to create space for them. I do not teach you to search for favorable environments. I make you one who carries that atmosphere into every place you enter. And when you step into a space, what you carry begins to shape what surrounds you. Every place that the sole of your foot will tread upon, I have given you. Joshua 1:3. This is not only about territory, it is about influence. Wherever you step, you carry authority to establish. Yet this movement does not end with outward action. It draws you into a deeper dimension where you do not merely move, but become the meeting point of two realities. I tell you this, you carry the reality of the kingdom within the ordinary. This means you do not need to withdraw from the world to live spiritually. You carry my life into the very places others call normal. Your workplace, your home, your everyday conversations all become ground where my kingdom is revealed through you. The kingdom of God is within you. Luke 17:21. And because it is within you, it is not limited by location or circumstance. So it is with you, my beloved child. You are not called to sanctify life through effort. You are called to live authentically from what I have placed within you, and that alone will reveal the kingdom. When you remain true to the light within, you do not need to manufacture influence. Impact will arise naturally. Therefore, walk in this movement. Do not return to waiting. Do not shrink back into safety. You have been brought into a current where you no longer react to circumstances. You shape them through your presence. You are movement. You are the point where the kingdom touches the ordinary. And when you live from this identity, you will see that your life is no longer confined by what you can see. It is expanded by what I am doing through you. My beloved child, this is no longer a moment for deliberation. I am not merely inviting you, I am placing into your hands 3 commands. As a seal, confirming that you have moved beyond understanding and are now entering into execution. What I give you is not for reflection, but for immediate embodiment. First, my beloved child, you must walk as one who has already overcome. Let this truth settle into every breath within you. Your victory does not lie somewhere in the future. It has already been established. But thanks be to God, who gives us the victory. 1 Corinthians 15:57. I am not telling you that you will win. I am telling you that you have been positioned as one who has already won. Therefore, every step you take no longer carries the fear of failure, but the awareness of executing what has already been written. When you walk with this mindset, you no longer react to circumstances, you shape them. What once caused you to hesitate will lose its power, because you no longer see the battle as a threat, but as an opportunity to reveal what has already been completed. Like David before Goliath, he did not come to test his chances. He came with the certainty that the Lord will deliver me. 1 Samuel 17:37. And that certainty altered the outcome before the stone was ever released. Next, you must speak as one who carries authority. I no longer permit you to speak with hesitation. No more words that probe in uncertainty. No more sentences shaped by fear. For your words are not merely sound, they are release. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. Proverbs 18:21. When you understand this, you will not speak much, but every word you speak will carry weight. You do not need repetition to be heard. You only need alignment with what I have placed within you. Spoken at the right moment. Remember the centurion who said, "Only speak a word, and my servant will be healed." Matthew 8:8. He understood authority, and therefore required no excess. And I honored that faith. So it is with you. My beloved child, let your words become precise instruments of light. Not loud, but exact. Not many, but piercing. And then, you must stand as one who leads the way. This is where many hesitate, not because they cannot, but because they are unfamiliar with standing in front. But I tell you clearly, you are no longer called to stand behind, nor to remain beside. I place you ahead not to burden you, but to make you a pathfinder. Be strong and courageous, for you shall lead this people to inherit the land. Joshua 1:6. Joshua did not choose that place, he was appointed into it. And so are you. When you step forward, others will begin to follow, not because you are flawless, but because you carry a clearer light. And this pleases me, for I did not create you to blend in, I created you to lead. Remember John the Baptist, who went ahead to prepare the way. He did not need titles or prominence, he simply stood in the right place, and an entire generation found direction. You do not need to strive to become a guide, you only need to stand where I have placed you, and the light within you will naturally open the way for others. My beloved child, these three commands are not separate. When you walk as one who has already overcome, your words will naturally carry authority. When your words carry authority, your position becomes a guiding point. And when you stand as one who leads, you will no longer turn back to question whether you should move, because you will have become the one others look to in order to know that it is possible to move forward. So do not delay another moment. Walk as one who has already overcome. Speak as one who carries authority. Stand as one who leads the way. And when you do, you will see that you are not merely living a different life, you are opening a path that many will follow. I am with you in every step, and as you walk in this truth, nothing will be able to keep you in the place of almost any longer. You have entered the realm of manifestation. From this point forward, everything you do will bear my mark clear, powerful, and undeniable. My beloved child, receive this as a moment that cannot be reversed, not a passing emotion, but a true shift within your soul. When I place my hand upon you, it is not symbolic, it is activation. Something within you has been awakened, and what has awakened will not return to sleep. As it is written, "Awake, you who sleep, arise from the dead, and Christ will give you light." Ephesians 5:14. The light does not merely shine upon you, it is rising from within you. Therefore I say to you, rise, not by effort, but by identity, not by your own strength, but by aligning with what I am already doing. You are no longer called to prepare, you are called to move. And this movement is no longer slow or hesitant, for you are entering into my velocity, a movement not limited by time, not hindered by circumstance, but led by the life that is already in motion. You will recognize this shift clearly. My beloved child, what once caused you to hesitate will no longer hold you back. The places that once made you retreat, you will step into them, not because you force yourself, but because your true nature within you will no longer accept being suppressed. As it is written, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." 2 Timothy 1-7. That spirit is already at work within you now. Let your sacred identity be revealed unrestrained, unhidden, unshrunken to fit the expectations of others. You were not created to blend in, you were created to express. And as you walk in this truth, you will see that wherever you step, the atmosphere begins to change. Not because you are trying to do something, but because you carry what I have placed within you. As it is written, "You are the light of the world," Matthew 5:14. And light does not ask permission to shine, it simply exists. My beloved child, I am not calling you to become something unfamiliar. I am bringing you back to who you have always been, now no longer concealed. When you speak, truth will carry weight. When you walk, the path will open. When you stand, others will discern direction. For I am the glory rising within you, not to make you visible, but to make me visible through you. I am the movement propelling you forward, not to exhaust you, but to carry you within my flow. I am the reality of the kingdom present, not distant, but alive within everything you touch each day. From this moment, you are no longer in the state of almost. That has ended. You are no longer standing at the edge, you have crossed over. Old things have passed away. Behold, all things have become new. 2 Corinthians 5:17. This is not merely a phrase, it is the reality you are now entering. You are no longer circling, you are accelerating. You are no longer hidden, you are revealed. You are no longer waiting, you are sent. Go, my beloved child, not as one searching, but as one carrying what has already been placed within. And as you step, you will see, I am not ahead of you for you to chase, nor behind you for you to manage alone. I am within you, moving with you, revealing through you. From this point forward, each day you live will no longer be repetition, it will be revelation. Each step you take will no longer be experimentation, it will be execution. Each word you speak will no longer be speculation, it will be release. For you have reason, and when you rise in me, nothing can hold you in the old place any longer. Thank you for listening to this message. Know this, you are not merely an audience, you are chosen to live daily in the presence of the Word. Do not forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you do not miss any spiritual messages. Amen.